Okay, just want to give everybody a quick update for those that are paying attention to and coming on board with us elevating this boycott to what I am trying to get our people to buy into to become a movement, become a part of the movement of uh, not just boycotting, but elevating that to blocking out, buying out, and building up, blocking them out of the community, buying them out if we can, and most certainly build up the community, which of course we cannot do if we don't have the economic power that we continually give to other people. So I'm going to share some things really quickly as relates to a definition of war, a brief history of the major things we've been through. Then I'm going to share a video of a sister laying this thing out as relates to how Asian businesses got into our communities in the first place, which will tie into everything else. So give me a quick second to get to the definition and share that really quickly. Then I'll roll into a brief snapshot of the major things we've gone through since we've been here. And then I'll get to the sisters video, which is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the recording. Thank you for paying attention. Please, 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 please share this. This is important for a lot of reasons. We are at a moment in time which doesn't happen very often, where we have multiple millions of our people, Black people, paying attention to the same thing at the same time, and a large majority of those numbers are on board for the same thing, which is this boycotting of Asian businesses, which can't just be about the murder of young brother Cyrus in South Carolina. And it can't just be a personal thing. It has to become more sophisticated, by which we make this boycott something that will end with us having more economic and financial power and controlling our own community. So, quick definition of war. This live is about um, war being declared on our people and what that war looks like, and proving it. So war definition from an AI overview. War is an intense armed conflict between states, governments, or organized groups, typically involving military operations, violence, and significant loss of life. The term extends to any intense struggle, competition, or campaign aimed at achieving a specific goal, such as economic, political, and social objectives. So, by this definition, it's very, 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 very easy to see and understand how war has been declared on Black people in this country from the time that we were kidnapped and brought here, from the time that those of us that were already here, along with other melanated peoples, how they were treated once other people got here, Europeans got here, the things that have been done to us as well as others since we've been here is proof that war has been declared on our people. And to take it one step further, to really drill down and prove to you what that war looks like of having been declared on our people. This is a slide that a lot of you have already seen, but if you have not seen it, just FYI, if you were to add up all the years of everything that we've been through since we've been here, it would be over 2,600 years of consecutive and cumulative assault, terror, and destruction on our melanin, from legal slavery, legal chattel slavery that lasted 246 years, to scientific racism, 326 years, human, political, and civil rights denied, 376 years, Tuskegee's civilist experiment and medical apartheid, 376 years, slave/black code, 66 years, terrorism, race riots, and mass murder, 127 years, destruction of Black towns on purpose, 123 years, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, America's first terrorist organization, 161 years. That one is ongoing. School segregation, 77 years. That one can be also seen as ongoing. Lynchings, 104 years. That can also be seen as ongoing. Jim Crow, which is making its way back. Enforced racial segregation, 74 years. Everything on this side is pretty much history, although some of this stuff is still ongoing. And the right side is pretty much current events. Convict leasing and peonage farms, 186 years. Stolen lands from farmers and families, 116 years. Sundown towns, 30 years. FHA loan denials, redlining, gerrymandering, and gentrification, 92 years. The prison industrial complex / mass incarceration, 84 years. Assassination of our leadership, both here and in Africa, 50, and in the Caribbean, 56 years. GI Bill benefits, exclusion, brothers and sisters going to war, and not getting the same benefits as white people when they came back from war and or serving in the military. COINTELPRO, the government's counterintelligence program, 25 years. Creation of the welfare state, 61 years. Iran-Contra and crack cocaine epidemic. The intentional flooding of Black communities with crack cocaine to fund an illegal war, 10 years. The war on drugs, 60 years in Hollywood slash media propaganda, which has created and continues to create an image of our people that is not who we are. And if you've been paying attention to this most recent India Irie and I can't remember the sister's name, is Lil Miami or something Miami, a song that she made, and the lyrics are absolutely horrible. And India Irie is saying we have to be better than this because this is destroying our she says culture, but it's not culture, the subculture, the behavior norms of our community. This isn't helping, and of course that's being pushed by Hollywood and the media. So that is a brief glimpse as to some of, not all, which is really crazy, some of, not all of the major things that we have gone through since we've been here, the things that we continue to go through, because of course we're still here. And this is why this boycott is so important, because again, we have so many people paying attention to this thing at the same time. And we need to, as people are paying attention, we need to get them to understand that it has to be matured, it has to be elevated into something that's going to matter at the end, which is going to give us more financial control and economic power. And again, as it relates to the previous slide, definition of war: an intense armed conflict between states, governments, or organized groups. And of course, we weren't as well armed as they were, but that doesn't mean war was not and has not been declared. Typically involving military operations, check. Violence, check, check. And significant loss of life, check, check, check. The term extends to any intense struggle, competition, or campaign aimed at achieving a specific goal. Their goal via us is to control our bodies, because this thing is all about labor, by controlling our minds. The terms extend to an intense struggle, competition, or campaign aimed at achieving a specific goal, such as economic, political, or social objectives. So please understand that war has most certainly been declared on our people, melanated peoples. Please understand that this is not something that is a one-off in 2026, since the time we were again kidnapped and brought here to now, from the time that our melanated spaces were colonized around the globe. This war has been declared, and it's very easy to see via that definition and that slide how war has in fact been declared. And what I'm saying is that we have to, of course, always, always, always fight to ensure that we don't lose the war. But whenever we have, again, a large number of our people paying attention to the same thing at the same time, and a large percentage of those persons who are on board are paying attention to this thing at the same time, when they're in agreement as to what we need to be doing, then we need to take advantage of this. We don't want to miss the opportunity of bringing as many of our people together and on board at the same time. So we want to make sure that, again, that we elevate this thing and do something with it that's going to matter. So I've been creating a list of content creators who are paying attention to this thing and putting out videos. And I am reaching out to all of them because I want to have a personal Zoom with them, show them my strategy of how we can elevate this thing. And I only need a few. My goal is targeting 50 of them. I only need a good 3 or 4 to get on board, because they will do what they do as content creators, spread the message of how this thing can be elevated and should be elevated. And we can all benefit with what I am thinking can be done, can be absolutely historic and phenomenal if we do it together, because if we don't do it together, it's not going to work anyway. So I came across this sister as one of the content creators. She calls herself the People's Reporter. I've gone to her YouTube channel, absolutely phenomenal. She's very detailed, very her analysis is historically on point. She has receipts, so I love what she's done and how she's done it. If you have not heard of her, please go to her YouTube page, like and subscribe, because the sister's absolutely phenomenal with not just this approach, but everything that I've seen so far that she's done. She's very professional and she's on point. So we're going to listen to the sister lay this thing out. I think it's 8 minutes, and I do apologize because I try to keep these updates to 5 minutes or less, but given the sister's professionalism and how well she lays this thing out. And given the topic of this evening, this war that's been declared on us, and how that thing looks, I am most certainly, I'm going to go over. And I'm sorry, I forgot to give an update. We are at 500 as of right now, 505 people that have seen my initial video, that have completed the application, and that are on board with the One Getting One campaign. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please go to my website, growforcare.org, GROW, the number 4CARE.org. Click on Challenge Accepted and complete that. Watch that video. That's the initial video that I did. And then complete the application, and the application is only like 5 or 6 questions, and then we'll go from there. So we're gonna listen to the sister. She's gonna lay this thing out. Then I'm gonna come back and close it out.
See, you walk into the nail shop, right? Or the beauty supply or the corner store, and the temperature changes. The eyes begin to follow you down the aisle. Yeah. Maybe a hand drifts towards the security monitor. You came in to spend your own money, and somehow you're the suspect. Then the talking starts in a language they assume you or I can't understand. And then one day you get tired enough, like I did, or smart enough to turn on Google Translate in your pocket. Yeah, and there it is, as plain as day. Drug dealer, can't stand them, monkey, the N word. Sometimes right out loud in a tongue they think is a locked door. Yeah, all of it said with a smile in the face and your cash in their hand. If that's happened to you, I'm not going to soften this by talking about both sides, right? Yeah, this is racism, not a misunderstanding, not a cultural gap, okay? Racism, contempt, and profit braided together at the same register. And walking away from it isn't bitterness, it's self respect.
This is a story that makes everyone cry. Laugh, cry, and ugly cry, and definitely totally not cry. But it's okay. You can always blame it on the altitude.
My dad never looked back at his old jeans after I gifted him these.
One thing up front, and I mean this is not all Asian people, okay? And it never was. Plenty have stood with Black folks, bled with us, and even organized with us, right? And we'll name some of them before this is all done because they've earned it. But the pattern we're talking about today is real. It is documented and it is long-standing. Both of these things are true at the same time. And a grown adult who decides to aim a slur at you or me, that choice, no matter who taught it to them, holds both. And if you want to understand exactly what kind of contempt we're dealing with right here, look no further than what went viral out of China this past spring, the Natasha doll. Here's what it is: a small palm sized squeeze toy marketed as stress relief, made to look like a baby. There are different color versions, I will say, but the one that took off, the one that people filmed themselves beating, stretching, stomping, running over, and yes, pouring boiling water on, was the dark skinned one, built with exaggerated features, a black baby, made to be tortured for laughs. And when people got called out, the explanation that circulated made it worse, not better. The reasoning that went around was that a white baby version would look too human, that folks would feel bad hurting it. Sit in that. The black baby was the one you were allowed to brutalize because it didn't register as fully human. Huh, yeah. That right there is the whole thing in your hand. Every slur at the counter, every following eye, every Latasha Harlins, yes, traces back to that one rotten root. This one isn't really human, so contempt is allowed. The doll didn't invent that idea, it just molded it into rubber and put a price tag on it. Now, credit where due. And this matters. Hong Kong's own black residents raised hell about it. Chinese parents and educators were disgusted too. And Chinese regulators moved to pull the videos, and some schools banned the thing. So, no, not all, but also it sold, it trended. Yeah, it was popular enough to become an industry. That tension, real revulsion from some real appetite for many, is the exact tension Black folks have been living at the counter for over 50 years. So, why are these shops in our neighborhoods in the first place? Right? Yeah. Here's the part that nobody explains. And it changes everything. Those businesses didn't end up in black neighborhoods because anybody chose us out of love. Okay. They ended up there because white America wouldn't let them anywhere else. You understand? Yeah. White banks redlined black neighborhoods, drew literal red lines on the maps, and starved them of loans. And white commercial districts and white suburbs kept Asian and South Asian immigrants and their businesses out too. That's right. They didn't want you. All right. Through restrictive covenants, lending discrimination, and plain hostility. So the disinvested black neighborhood, already stripped of its own capital, became one of the only places a newly arrived immigrant with a little bit of money could set up shop. Uh-huh. Now, sociologists have a name for this role, right? That creates the middleman minority. The folks at the top install a middle tier to run the stores between the powerful and the locked out. So that when the squeeze comes, the rage hits the visible shopkeeper instead of the invisible banker and landlord who actually drained the wealth, right? The shop owner becomes the face of an extraction they didn't design. Too bad. That's not an excuse for how they treat us, okay? It's the explanation for how they got placed in front of us, okay? All right. So the lie they built to set us against each other in the 1960s, right? Right as the civil rights movement was forcing America to face anti-black racism, the press manufactured a brand new story. Magazines ran glowing pieces about hardworking, uncomplaining, successful Asian Americans. The timing wasn't an accident, you see. The message underneath was aimed straight at us. Yeah. Look at these minorities who made it without marching, without protesting, without demanding anything. So, your problem, Black America, isn't racism, it's you. That's what they were saying. Okay. See, that's the model minority myth. And it was never really a compliment to Asians. It was a club built to beat down Black demands for justice. Scholar Claire Jean Kim called the real mechanism racial triangulation. Asians get lifted up just high enough to be useful as a rebuke to Black people, but never high enough to actually belong. Never let them all the way in. A conditional pass that gets revoked the second is convenience. You better ask anybody who lived through the anti-Asian violence of COVID. Don't y'all remember? Yeah, how permanent that acceptance was? It wasn't, was it? Yeah. Now, you want the cleanest receipt of how engineered this all is? Look at the black hair industry. A roughly $6 billion market that exists entirely because of black hair, black bodies, and black culture. Yeah. And black people barely own a sliver of it. Now, here's how that got locked up, and it's almost surgical. In 1965, Korean wig merchants got the South Korean government to ban the export of raw human hair, meaning nobody outside Korea could manufacture the wigs from scratch. You see? So you could only buy them finished from them. Then, about 6 months later, the US government banned imports of any wig containing Chinese hair. Yeah, handing the whole industry to the Koreans on a plate. Two governments 6 months apart. A single company, YH Trade, exported $100 million in wigs in the years that followed. $100 million. And in 2022, Boston University Law Review study laid out the rest plainly. The manufacturing, the wholesale distribution, and the retail of this market are overwhelmingly controlled by Korean and Korean American firms. And they held that dominance through trade groups formed specifically to restrict who could import and distribute the product.
Okay, so I'm gonna end it there. And again, if you have never heard of this sister, I just recently discovered her. I strongly suggest all of you guys go to YouTube, type in the People's Reporter, and she should pop up. And if you can't find it, just put the information below, and I'll send you the link. But that should pop up because I couldn't find another one. I think her name is Larissa. Laurissa, Larissa, the People's Reporter. So, in a nutshell, again, war has been declared. War has been rolled out. The campaigns of this war are multiple. And if you noticed, government plays a role in the war, which is why it's so important that we are paying attention to government. We are plugged into government, and we're running for office to ensure that the majority of our people, the grassroots, are taken care of and looked out for, because typically that that doesn't happen. So we have to understand that if we're going to win this war, we have to come at this thing from multiple angles, because that's how it comes at us. But not most importantly, but more importantly, we got to make sure that we're not giving away the weapons that we need to fight and win the war, which is the economics and the finance, which goes back to elevating this boycott, which is something that we should have been doing for a very long time anyway. The only reason other people come from other countries to the black community and open a business is because they can, and we allow it because we don't have those businesses. So we can always say boycott, we can always say shop black, but boycotts by their very nature have a deadline, and in order for you to shop black, black has to exist. So we have to create black-owned businesses in these spaces, which is another reason why the boycott is so important. Elevating the boycott is so important, so that when we tell our people to shop black, they can actually find black to shop. And all of this is a part of the elevating the boycott to, again, what I'm calling block out, buy out, and build up. The One Getting One campaign is very simple. It's not rocket science at all. It's you watching the initial video I did. If you agree, I don't know why you would not. Going to our website and completing the form that I laid out earlier, and then waiting for me to tell you, okay, we've hit our numbers. Go ahead and send your $5. And once that happens, we'll be able to not only, well, we would have made history by that thing happening, but then we'll be able to do things here in Houston, Texas, and franchising that model out. There's tremendous opportunity if we have enough of our people on board, paying attention and plugging into this thing. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching the recording. As always, please share this. Again, this is a tremendous opportunity because so many of our people are paying attention. So many are on the same page at the same time. The boycott, from what I've seen, is working. Asian businesses are being affected. And again, it's not personal. This is professional. This is business. And this is about our survival. We can't afford to continue to give away multiple millions, especially with this administration that's making it very clear as to what they think about us and how much they do not care. And we have to accept the fact that, yeah, war has been declared, but like everything else we've been through, we can come out of it. We can come out of it actually stronger if we respond accordingly and do what we need to do. So on that note, thank you guys very much. And for those who have completed the video and the application, thank you. For those that have not, please do so. It ain't deep. And for everybody, please share the video, because One Getting One is really about one getting one. I don't know of a simpler way we can move ourselves forward than one black person saying to another black person, hey, watch this video. If you agree, go to the website, complete the form. At some point, you will be asked to invest, because that's what it'll be, $5. Then we go from there and we start putting certain legal structures in place so that the community can control a larger aspect of the economics and finance of the community, which is multiple millions. And then we boogie from there and start doing other things. So always remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And lastly, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the empowerment and freedom of Black people, because if Black people aren't safe, aren't free, if Black people aren't empowered and you're connected to the Black group, then you won't have power, you won't be free, and you most certainly won't be safe. But if the group, if the nation, if the tribe has power, it can protect the people, and then we can boogie on as we should and as we've done in the past. So thank you guys very much. God bless, and I will most certainly be in touch. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.